here's an experiment we did using globe Earth math. Here's a canal or a lake, and we have a camera. It's on a frozen lake. Now, water at rest lies flat, testably, measurably, provably flat. Water, when it gets cold at rest, freezes flat.
So I'm going to draw a circle like the Earth. Pretend we have a glass of water that is a huge glass of water. It's a couple miles big, a couple miles wide, this glass of water. Fill it with water. The water is going to be straight relative to the tangent point on the Earth, kind of like a level. And Dave is assuming that in his situation with his experiment, his lake is such as this glass of water, but that's not true. His lake is part of the globe, has some curvature, and where it touches land, the land is containing it, but the water in between is actually, due to gravity, pulling the water down. At the sides, the water makes contact with the land, but in between, the water's following is part of the curvature of the Earth. So his lake experiment, he's actually performing on a curved Earth.
So we've done measure tests with lasers, with mirror flashes, with just sightings, and I'm going to show you one right now. These lights here are 8 miles, 7 miles, 6 miles, and 5 miles away. Now, that doesn't sound far, but according to globe math from a 6-inch observer height, this should be 30 feet below a physical curve.
So what Dave's basically saying is, if there's curvature and you're miles and something is miles away, because of the curvature, it should be technically at a, I'll say, lower altitude to keep it simple. Like it's around the corner, it's around the globe, so to speak. And you either shouldn't be able to see it at some point, or it should appear to be lower in the sky than it is. Light bends. It follows the curvature of the Earth, the gravity. Gravity bends it. Light reflects off something. As that light, the image you see comes to your eyes, the light is bending with the Earth due to gravity, such that when it arrives at your eyes, it appears as if it was straight in front of you. If it wasn't for that, everything might look goofy to us.
We're seeing them all on the same level, but on a globe, this one would have to be all the way down here, 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 and they'd all have to be refracting up to this line for me to be able to see them.
Here's a building. I'm going to draw the flat Earth idea, the way we see it and the way Dave believes that it is literally flat. You see light because it reflects off something. The idea that light follows the curvature of the Earth because it's bent due to gravity, and I'm going to exaggerate this curving of the Earth here. So say we have the building over here, and you're some distance away, miles away, such that there's curvature. Now, according to Dave, you wouldn't actually be able to see part of the building. What I'm saying is that light's still reflecting and bended due to gravity and follows the curvature of the Earth. So the same picture, the same light arrives at your eyes.
So here's a time lapse of Chicago from over 50 miles away. So now look, I'm holding my finger next to this building. It's not changing. This is over like 18, 20 hours time lapse. And this building is still right there. It's still right there. It's still right there. Now, it should be refracting up, down. It should be wobbling, but it's not. It's just staying right there, and it hasn't moved. Now, the top of this tower, the very top, should be hidden. So what we also did is on a clear day, our guys went down there on boats, put the Chicago in their lens, and then drove 50 miles across the lake on a boat and kept it there the whole time. If it was a mirage, it would disappear at some point, but it never disappeared.
An old-fashioned level works on the same principle as this glass of water. A level has a bubble in it, which will only stay in the middle of the level, and the level is straight, such that at the point that the level is touching the object, in this case we'll call it the Earth, it's straight. The yardstick is straight. The Earth is curved.
Here is this is the Knickebein system, and you have these transmitters here. Now these are microwaves, and it is known that microwaves need line of sight, right? At the frequency that they're going off of, they can't theoretically bounce off the ionosphere because they would go right through it. So here it is. Here they are in Ringstead, 205 feet, and they were going to Mont Gramandi, but they were able to work. And the way that you know that they worked is they had one microwave going this way and one microwave going this way. This is a documented military experiment where they basically were guiding planes during the war down these microwave lines, because the plane, as it would be on the line, it would go, it would have beep, 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 beep. And when it has a solid tone, it's on the line. So the plane would follow this line, but it would know it's over the target when it comes across this other beam. Therefore, there is no curvature. When they were suggesting this, some of the scientists were like, well, it's not going to work because there's too much Earth curvature in the way. But the high admiral said, no, we're going to do it anyway. And they did it.
The ham radio operators I talked to, spoke to about this, who are experts in radio transmissions, they got really frustrated with me, not because of the flat Earth, but because, like, when you say microwaves, what frequency? The flat Earth argument and debate as to whether the Knickebein system could have worked is based on that it operated at a microwave frequency. It did not operate at a microwave frequency, not even close. The Knickebein system operated between 30 and 33 megahertz. For something to be considered a microwave, frequency actually must be 300 megahertz on the low end to 300 gigahertz on the high end. So the low end of what's considered microwave is still 10 times higher than what Dave is calling a microwave. I realized this as I was thinking about this more, and I recall that in the early days of cordless phones, the frequency of the cordless phones was 900 megahertz. That's 30 times higher than what Dave's calling a microwave. So if anything, these phones, if what Dave's saying is true, we should have needed line of sight to use these cordless phones, but that wasn't the case. The base station would be in the kitchen, and I could take my phone upstairs or even outside on the lawn and keep talking. I didn't need line of sight. It was the number 900 megahertz. I have some clients who are sensitive to electromagnetic fields, and they don't like the new cordless phones and the Wi-Fi. So if you're lucky at a Goodwill, you can find, and you actually have a landline, you can find some of these old phones that work at 900 megahertz. But why else didn't I realize this sooner? Because the slide in Dave's presentation has the title, Knickebein Line of Sight. And during his presentation, as he's pointing, he's saying, these are microwave towers, and it's known that microwaves need line of sight. Whoever told him Knickebein used microwaves was wrong. The scientists working on the system had doubts as to whether it would work. They weren't sure if the waves would follow the curvature of the Earth or not, how it worked. They did not have her make that statement based on saying it was a microwave frequency. It was simply at that time in history when radio, radar, and so forth was just being invented. They simply were not sure. It had nothing to do with the frequency, quote, being in the microwave range. And an incorrect association has been made in Dave's presentation between the phrase line of sight, and this results in those seeing that slide to assume that the Knickebein system, in fact, operated at frequency in the microwave range. It was not a microwave frequency, not even close. These are radio frequencies. These are not microwave frequencies. And how do we get pulled into this discussion anyhow about trying to figure out how is it working when it says it shouldn't work? Look at Dave's slide here where I have it circled. To me, it looks like he's grabbed some pictures of dishes that may operate at microwave frequencies and cut and paste them onto the slide to make his presentation. That is not what the Knickebein antennas look like. You can go online and Google what the antennas look like, and Knickebein translates as bent leg. These are basically VHF antennas, long-range VHF antennas. If you had a TV back in the day and you wanted to tune into, back in the day, you had to use a television, you had to use an antenna. It was, some of the stations were VHF. You had these rabbit ears you had to twist and bend to get the television station to come in. It's that kind of radio frequency. What to me in Dave's slide looks like when he's pointing to it and saying he's saying as a matter of fact, these were microwave antennas. They were not. They were VHF antennas. I'm sure he had good intentions. Somewhere he thought, I'm going to present this way because I think they're microwave. Someone told him they're microwave, so he goes and gets a picture of microwave dishes or something to cut and paste into a slide, to which the rest of us on quick thought maybe don't question that. And we start getting pulled into this discussion about, well, how did it work then if there were microwave frequencies? I call that disinformation, Dave. We call it an honest mistake, but I'm sure it led people down the wrong rabbit hole in trying to do the research. It's misinformation, kind of just like the...
And according to Globe